are tuned in to the new DC Defenders show here on United Football Media. Our guy Webb, he defected in free agency to those nasty Memphis showboats. Our guy, Coach Alex, is doing some very important things in his local area as far as the political scene goes. Very important man. So we decided, hey, you know what? I'm from an hour north of DC. Tay is from an hour south of DC. DC is our local team, and we love the DC Defenders. This isn't no situation like, oh, Webb just in here cashing checks, broadcasting from Columbus, Georgia, or wherever the hell he was. No. Me and Tay are from the Delmarva Peninsula, the Delmarva Triangle, and we are here to provide some impassioned local coverage of the DC Defenders. Speaking of which, this show is for the people, by the people. So if there's anything else that you want us to dig into or look into, just mention it in the comments. We're all over it. We love comments. We love interacting with the audience. Speaking of which, me and Tay both will probably be at some games this year out there at Rowdy Audi, responsibly contributing to the Beer Snake. If you see us out there, come up and say what's up. We'd love to talk since we are your new DC Defenders crew. New faces is the theme of the next couple of weeks. Our two beautiful new faces for your coverage. But also we're going to be talking about the new faces coming in for the DC Defenders, who you need to know becoming a part of the team. This week we're going to start with new faces on offense, which is a big key, because the DC Defenders lost a lot, not just from last year's roster, but last year's offense was a little bit rough, was a little bit tough to watch at times. So we're going on really 2 years of attrition here, trying to rebuild this thing into what it was, the dominant, exciting offense that we saw in 2023. So this week, we're going to start with new faces on offense. Next week will be new faces on defense, and then we'll start rolling into some of the returning players as we get ready. Training camp starts this week as we get ready for the season. Hopefully, Defenders getting back to prominence in the championship game like they were a few years ago. Starting off the lineup, the guy that I'm actually most excited about, you got Lynn Bowden out of the University of Kentucky, a guy who was first team All-CC, first team All-American, had 2,000 total yards his senior year, was a third-round pick of the Las Vegas Raiders. Tremendously productive player, can run the ball, can catch the ball. When he had his 2,000 yards, is a kick returner, is a punt returner. When he had his 2,000 yards and 15 total touchdowns when he was at Kentucky, it was 1,300 rushing, 400 receiving, 250 returning, and 300 passing the ball. He can play quarterback as well, which is going to, have some real implications with this team, since we do love to run the heavy gun quarterback runs. It would be definitely a situation where I could see Lynn Bowden coming in at Wildcat quarterback and running quarterback power with possibly a tight end leak option. Things like that. We hope the creativity to those run schemes comes back this year that we saw in 2023. Lynn Bowden, very, very excited to see him go in. Another part of the offense that is key, the key to this offense is controlling the line of scrimmage, running the ball well, play action, read option, RPO, having the ball ran well, and the line of scrimmage controlled are the two keys to this offense humming. And that's why we saw Jordan Tiamu and Abram Smith. Hopefully he's back. Hopefully he's back in MVP form this year, because that was the key. But another key to this is multiple backs who can come in and get the job done. And another guy we've brought in, former Duke running back Deion Jackson, averaged 4.3 yards a carry while at Duke. Never really eclipsed 800 yards, but was always effective, a hard runner, has the physical tools for sure. He ran a 4.3 or a low 4.4 40 at 220 pounds, 5'11", 220, a low 4.4, I believe it was 4.42. that's great physical tools at that size. He had a 121-yard game when he had to come in as a backup for the Indianapolis Colts a couple of years ago when Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines were both hurt. The guy can catch it. The guy can run it. Tell me if you hear a theme here. Just a little bit lower number output than the guy we just talked about, Lynn Bowden. Excited for Deion Jackson to be added into the mix in the running back backfield, trying to get this thing back rolling the way it was a few years ago. Next guy we're going to talk about, Jacob Copeland, a wide receiver. Last out of Maryland, he started off at Florida. Interesting story in that he opted out of his senior year and to go into the draft with only 400 receiving yards his last year at Maryland. But with that, he has still been able to get himself on rosters. He's been on and off like 5 or 6 practice squads in the NFL. So that means people see potential. The people at the highest levels see potential in you. Again, good size, 5'11", 202, ran a 4.42. Good size, good athletic numbers, good testing. And like I said, people at the highest levels have clearly seen something in him to keep on bringing him into these practice squads. And believe me, between the departures of Kelvin Harmon and our tight end from a year ago, the 2 top receivers, there's going to be a lot of receiving yardage and receiving targets to go around in this offense. We are going to need someone to step up. And I believe that Jacob Copeland has the tools possibly to do that, because it's a guy who clearly has a lot of belief in his athletic abilities, and just the right opportunity has not quite worked out for him so far. So I am interested to see what Jacob Copeland can do with that opportunity. Our second leading pass catcher on the squad last night. I wish it was last night. It's been far too long since we've gotten to watch DC Defenders football and fill up Rowdy Audi and get crazy. Our second leading receiver last year was the tight end Alex Ellis, who has also departed the team. So again, a lot of targets and yards are up for grabs. And a guy who has a chance to fulfill that is Devin Asiasi, tight end out of UCLA, was drafted fairly high by the New England Patriots. He was the number 6 tight end prospect coming out of high school and the number 43 prospect overall coming out of high school. Put up some big time numbers in the USC game a couple times for UCLA. Great athletic numbers, great ability to get open, great hands for a tight end. And, as we just said and stated, the tight end eats in this offense. So I think it's going to be very important to see if Devin Asiasi can finally fulfill some of that potential that got him drafted so high, that got him ranked so high coming out of high school. Very excited to see it. The offensive line has had some attrition. We are missing, unfortunately, the best offensive lineman in the UFL, Liam Fornadell. Now, I will say I'm trying to be hopeful. He got released out of his contract of the New England Patriots late in December. It just broke before we got on here recording that Sal Cannella had returned to the Arlington Renegades. It's not too late, Liam Fornadell. Come back. Come home. We miss you. Come home. Be the linchpin of the offense. Be the best offensive lineman in the whole United Football League. Come back to us, brother. But as of right now, he's still not with the team. We also lost the other starting offensive tackle. Liam Fornadell is a guard, but we lost 2 starting offensive tackles. So some guys are going to have to step up to fill those roles. We brought in a few interesting prospects to do so. Badara Traore, 6'7", 330-pound offensive tackle out of LSU. He did not start very many games, but at the same time, he had never played organized football until his final 2 years of high school, and had enough potential, enough size, enough tools to do a 4-year scholarship at LSU. Had 3 starts. Ed Orgeron loved him, said he was one of the most improved players from beginning to end that he had ever seen. So and he's bounced around a couple of practice squads: Jacksonville Jaguars, Cardinals, Bears, Panthers. So this is a guy, a lot of untapped potential, long arms. He's got the size, he's got the feet. This is where these guys, this is the league for these guys to thrive. So we can hope possibly he could come in and help at tackle or guard. Either one. Interesting prospect to me. And again, the success of this team starts and ends with their ability to control the line of scrimmage, both making people accountable for the runners and the quarterback, but also obviously the offensive line. Now we still got the best center in the UFL, but losing the best overall offensive lineman was a tough loss. Another guy we're bringing in at that guard spot, Mason Brooks, 2-year starter at Western Kentucky. Spent the whole training camp, or spent the whole season on the Washington Commanders practice squad. 6'5", 310, good explosiveness, good short area burst. Another guy, very young, was productive at Western Kentucky. I like what I see out of him, and I think he could fill in admirably at guard and possibly grow into the spot. Is he going to be the best offensive lineman in the game? I'm not sure, but the tools are there, the potential is there, and obviously people who know what they're looking at like this guy and want him involved. The last guy, well, second to last guy, excuse me. Tykeem, this one's interesting. Tykeem Doss, 6'5", 380 pounds, 80, the big boy out of Southern Miss. Started 6 games, started sparingly. He was a junior college All-American. Again, spent the entire season, this past football season, with the Baltimore Ravens practice squad. So again, you're seeing guys who did not have a ton of tape out there at the college level, but they're still getting invited to these camps. They still hang in there on the practice squad for the whole season. Obviously, people see something in them, and obviously the tools here. This is a massive, massive individual. 30 reps on the bench press. Pretty strong. You got to hope, especially in like goal line packages. I could just see it in my mind right now. A goal line package with Lynn Bowden in at quarterback, running quarterback power right behind, the big man Tykeem Doss put in at guard if things work out. So I'm hoping that's where we head with that. The last guy that will highlight, new addition to the offensive line, Daryl Simpson, offensive tackle, was a 2-year starter at Tulsa, spent the season the practice squad of the Baltimore Ravens once again. This guy has the most credentials of anybody that we're bringing in on the offensive line to possibly fill in at tackle, maybe guard. Daryl Simpson, 2-year starter at Tulsa, and was a all-conference honorable mention all-lineman performer. So the most credentials out of the guys. Still very young, still a ton of talent, still a ton of untapped potential. He could grow into being a stud starter for this offensive line. There's a lot of turnover here. A lot of our strengths have left us. What do you think? And real quick, the quarterback, we have a decent backup quarterback as well. Spencer Sanders played quarterback at Oklahoma State, put up some huge numbers in the Bedlam game a couple of times against Oklahoma. Can use his legs, can use his arm, nice high completion percentage. I have no fear if Jordan Tiamu either it's looking rough again this year, or if he gets hurt, because the quarterback does run a lot in this offense. I have no fear Spencer Sanders can come in and play well and play efficiently in this offense. So, Tay, who do you like? Who stands out to you? What are the key new faces?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Spencer Sanders, because that was going to be the first person I was going to name. Like you said, if Jordan Teamu doesn't start off strong, or injury comes, I think he can step in and do just fine, run the offense to perfection. I definitely do remember him at Oklahoma State. He started all 4 years. That has to count for something. And then his 5th year, he transferred to Ole Miss, and it just ended there. But yeah, I do think he has a lot left. He's only 25. Yeah, you never know. You got to be ready when your name's called. So
Yep.
I do like the backup quarterback addition. And Deion Jackson.
Yeah.
He's always been like a utility running back. Like if you need him here, he'll do this. You need him here, he'll do that. So him in this offense, I do like. Like we'll hear his name a lot. I have him getting about maybe like 5 touchdowns. Like he has some big playability. So especially like out the passing game. Like he just like I said, he just utility running back. Wherever you need Deion Jackson, he'll play. So I also did like that too. That was one of the better moves this offseason. Like defenders really did a good job this offseason. And Lynn Bowden Jr. I've been watching him since early
Yeah.
in his college career. Like he's a football player. Like he's played quarterback, like you say, he's played quarterback. He's been a return man, receiver, running back. Like, he just plays it all. And when you have a player like that, you always got a chance. Like I think Lynn Bowden he would be like I could see offensive player of the year, type caliber player, just because of the versatility, like you said, you can play quarterback. They can do really anything with them. So that was definitely like I saw that a couple weeks ago. I saw that when the transaction happened, and yeah, I said it right then and there. Like this is a good move. He's gonna make a big difference. People are gonna know his name. Like Lynn Bowden is probably gonna be one of the best players in the league. Like I'm gonna say it here first. Like yeah, I'm a big fan, and the additions were pretty good. Like all quality impact players. Like I like the offense a lot better than I did last year. Like just got better at every single position. Like from trenches to quarterback to skills. Like every single position, we got better. Just did the right thing, made the right moves, and yeah, I'm happy to see the offense this year. I definitely going to be better than last year. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, it got pretty ugly last year, and that's what what you're highlighting. And again, me too. Like talking about Deion Jackson, guy got 121 scrimmage yards. He got the first start he got in the NFL. He had over 120 total yards in the NFL, an NFL game. So the guy can catch, the guy can run. Great addition to depth to this backfield. And then again, we've already waxed poetic about Lynn Bowden. First team all SEC. That's definitely not nothing when you talk about credentials when the guy comes into this league. And I agree with you too. As far as the auditions, when you look at the caliber of pickups, like eye-popping pickups, I would put the defenders right up, probably right up underneath the Battlehawks and the Brahmas as big pickups. The Battlehawks obviously adding Andy Isabella, adding Denzel Mims, big stuff. Would have loved to have them on the DC Defenders. And then Greedy Williams, a first round type talent that came in to the Brahmas. But I think right below them is the DC Defenders, adding a Lynn Bowden, adding Devin Asiasi, a top former top 50 recruit, a guy that the Patriots really thought highly of when they drafted him. And we got also, next week we're going to do defensive new faces, and there's some highly drafted guys that came in on the defensive side as well, difference makers. So I'm happy with those additions as well. And I agree with you. I think we're going to see a better offense this year. Hopefully the offensive line can gel. That is a concern, but I agree. I'm very excited to see these guys work in this offense. You got anything else, Tay? Final thoughts?
Yeah, like I said it. I'll say it here first. Lynn Bowden Jr. will be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year. I have to say that. Got to give him my hot take. It might not be hot. It might not be hot, but I gotta say that defenders are going to the playoffs too. So that's all I gotta say. Defenders going to the playoffs.
There we go. Let's get it going early. Yes, sir.
Offensive Player of the Year. Yes, sir.
Offensive player of the year. There's going to be plenty of offense to go around. You know, Abram Smith, we're going to ease him back in. Lynn Bowden, defenders to the playoffs. I like it. We're going to defend Rowdy Audi. New records being set with the length of beer snakes. Things are going to be flying in the air out there. Get the lemons out as well. We're so excited to be your new DC Defenders team. Impact new faces on the field. Impact new faces off the field. Excited to come to you again next week with new faces on the defense. Ready. We will see you then. Same time, same Defender channel. This is the DC Defender Show, United Football Media.